The rules are simple. I ask for your hot takes and unpopular opinions on Twitter. I give you a link so you can submit them anonymously. I discuss them in videos such as this one. Let's argue, everyone. Alternating should be bannable. Well, shit guys, I guess it's over for me, isn't it? You know, this take, I guess this is bait. Maybe it's less bait and more of just an exaggeration in general, because obviously, you know, alternating shouldn't be bannable, it's a playstyle. However, in 2020, there are people who actually really despise alternating as a tapping style in general. And the reason for that is because it's meta, you know? Many of those high BPM jumps that you see all the time, the big jumps that give you that sweet dopamine hit for the PP, are commonly played while alternating instead of single tapping. So as a result, single tapping has become this rare thing. There was actually a point in time when alternating was seen as something amazing because people didn't really have that much finger control, so players like Azer shine through the single tapping community for having that level of finger control. And I still think alternating is very hard to master. In fact, there are very few players who alternate reliably. I can only think of maybe Rustbell when he used to play the game. Rest in peace. Bubbleman, Azer. Surely everyone alternates when it comes to DT farming, but when you're talking about other maps that require a lot of finger control and there are perhaps a lot of bursts or maybe triples or consecutive triples, alternating, and especially full alternating, gets very complex. So to anyone that thinks alternating should be bannable or even just in general thinks it's easier, I recommend you try some more complex maps and then you tell me whether that's easy, man. PP farm maps and mappers greatly contributed to the community's population, and without them Osu will not be nearly as large as it is today. Well, yeah, this is true. I don't know if this is necessarily a hot take, because I'm pretty sure people do understand that the community is this big nowadays because of PP maps and because of the hype generated by ranking up and all of that stuff. Now, whether that's a good thing or not, I honestly don't know. I don't think it's really that great that many skill sets aren't recognized because of farming and because of the implications of farming and gaining ranks. But yeah, definitely, those PP maps and PP mappers really contributed to the community's growth in general. Should we thank them? I don't know, because mapping nowadays, we all know where it went, we all know what's the community's perception of mapping, where most maps get only hyped because they give an absurd amount of PP, and many maps which are actually mechanically harder, or you know, harder in general as in the amount of skills you need to have in order to FC certain maps, those really don't get as much hype as the PP zoom maps, so you know, that's kind of bad, but this is true. Genetics exist and have an impact on the skill of a person, but that's not an excuse for not trying to improve or get some harder scores. In my opinion, people with and without genetics could be at the same level. Yes, thank you very much. Though, to be honest, I don't think this is an unpopular opinion. It's only unpopular towards the people that say, you know, if you're not born to click circles, you won't be able to be a top player ever. However, yeah, this is true. I mean, genetics do exist, they do have an impact, especially on the higher level, but I think anyone can get there with enough hard work, motivation, and not getting tricked into thinking that it all relies on genetics. Hot anime titties skins give you extra performance boost when playing. Well, I haven't experimented with this myself. As you guys know, my skin is clean, Christian friendly, good for your mom and children, but this might actually be true, you know? I think many people can agree that watching anime, looking at huge anime tits and playing eroge is actually the way to improve at Osu, other than playing the actual game. So maybe this actually works, and I will experiment with that. Thanks, Anon. People severely underestimate how strong overrated farming is. It literally takes years to go from getting PP on farm maps to getting the same PP on non-farm maps. It really depends on your skill set though. Like, I kind of agree with this message in general because I can farm like 600 and 700 PP on DT, but to me getting like a 500 PP score on Hard Rock would be amazing, so I can definitely see like the difference in that kind of stuff. But it also goes the other way, because there are many players nowadays that are only good at Hard Rock even though they are in the minority, and those people actually can't really get PP off of those farm maps that I consider farm maps, which are DT. So yeah, like, of course, farming is very strong and overrated. Like many maps that nowadays give like 700 PP probably should give low 600 for the amount of difficulty they actually take, you know, or just the way they are structured, where it's basically a minute of nothing and then there's a huge fucking spike that gives you that sweet juice, that PP, you know? I wouldn't say it literally takes years. It really all depends on your base skill sets. Now, of course, if you're mostly a DT player, it's gonna be hard for you to get PP off of Hard Rock, but in the same way, if you're a no-mod / Hard Rock player, it probably takes a lot to master double time, because it's a completely different skill set, whether it's high approach rate reading, alternating if you wanna alternate, or just aiming those big jumps in general, you know? Allowing decimal AR, CS, HP, OD is the worst mistake that has ever happened in this game. PS, can you guess who this is? I mean, who is that passionate about old maps, old school stuff? Willy, is that you? I don't know, dude, but yeah, I don't agree with this. In fact, allowing decimal AR, CS and all of that really has given a lot of freedom to mappers. I don't think it's really a great idea to limit mappers who can't have a certain approach rate or CS or HP for that matter. Well, maybe HP kind of makes sense. I don't even understand why high HP is a thing, especially when it gets high to the point where you actually fail while you're FCing. But you know, I understand where these tweets come from, because most of the issues with the current PP system are because of OD and how overrated it is. So when mappers put, for example, OD 9.2 on a DT map, that increases a lot, goes way over OD 10 and becomes extremely overrated. So perhaps, you know, I could possibly agree with the OD thing, but that's only if you look at it in the eyes of the PP farmer, you know, or the PP mappers. Anyone else that just wants to have freedom of expressing their thoughts on a song and expressing their creative freedom through mapping get fucked in the ass if you remove decimal AR, CS or OD for that matter. So I definitely don't want to limit freedom of mappers in any shape or form. So I think this is far from being the worst mistake that has happened to this game. In fact, it probably really helped the mapping scene as a whole. There should be one universal OD and HP so that every map has the same OD HP. Very strange take there, sir, and I definitely don't agree with that, because as I said, this is just limiting freedom of mappers, which is not a good thing, so nah. What?
What are you talking about?
I feel like most OSO accounts should be forced to live play once every certain time frame or on demand, or otherwise face restriction to combat cheating. I'm sure many people will be glad to volunteer to analyze those live plays, and it will be better than nothing to have in place. I kind of agree and also disagree with this, cause I'm pretty sure everyone can fake a live play these days, and I'm not sure whether people analyzing them is really useful in any capacity. I agree with you when you say it's better than having nothing, but live plays aren't really that relevant in 2020, I think. I think it will be way better to actually have live streams, perhaps, but I know not everyone can afford to have a decent internet connection or a decent computer that can handle streaming without lagging, which would highly influence the performance. So yeah, I have no idea. For example, if someone asked me tomorrow to make a live play of my top play, my current top play, I wouldn't be able to FC it on command, you know? You can have great days when you pop off and you are able to set scores that are slightly outside of your comfort zone and not do it again when they demand you to. So should people get restricted because of that? I'm not quite sure, but I do agree that cheating is out of control right now, so maybe this could be an alternative, but yeah, I don't think this is the way. All tech maps are boring to play and watch. I would much rather play Harumachi for 8 hours straight than play a tech map once. Bait! Everyone, that's our bait post for today. Now you see, this would be a normal respectable take if you said all tech maps are boring to play and watch. Surely it's not true, but it really all depends on your experience with tech maps. I will agree though that not all tech maps are necessarily great. However, when you say you would much rather play fucking Aromatic Clover for 8 hours, I know that's bait, so I'm sorry man, you went a bit too far with that. In tournaments, it should be the norm to choose between HDHR and HR or HDDT and DT on the according pick. I definitely think it adds a nice overall fairness to players who struggle with a hard rock or DT without hidden, and no free mod picks do not count as a compensation. There's really no fairness here, cause if you're limited because you can only play hard rock with hidden or DT with hidden, that's on you, my man. Like, tournaments aren't supposed to give a shit about that. Like, tournaments are supposed to test all of your individual skills. Keyword individual, so you know, hard rock is a thing, DT is a thing. If you ask for HD on those two mods, you're not asking for fairness, you're just asking the tournament to basically adapt to your limitations. So instead of doing that, I recommend you just start playing hard rock and DT without always slapping on that sweet hidden that makes it more comfortable for you to read, sir. Hidden should be nerfed to 1.03 score multiplier because DT is better than HDHR, DTHR is better than DTHD, and HR is better than HD. Wow, what an insane hot take, right? I'm sure no one all throughout history has ever said that, sir. Yeah, this isn't a hot take, I'm pretty sure even hidden players themselves will tell you that they feel like shit when they pass an hard rock score just because hard rock is generally harder unless it's a... So yeah, not a hot take man, come on dude. Spaza17 is cute. Well, thank you very much sir, but unfortunately, again, this isn't a hot take, I think everyone knows that. Spaza is overrated as fuck. His scores are all mediocre and his videos are just unoriginal normie memes. He almost always tweets terrible takes which people agree with because he has clout. To be honest, he should stop creating content. The fact he won't put this in the video shows how insecure you are, by the way. Yeah, you know, this doesn't really feel like a genuine hate message, it's more like the first thing you will type whenever you go on 4chan. Because it's way too extreme, you know? If this person genuinely hated everything I do, he probably wouldn't be following me on Twitter or caring about being in this video. In fact, you actually begged me to put you in this video so you can get the attention. So I guess from a certain point of view you won, you baited me, this is a bait post and I bite on the bait. Though I'm actually gonna respond to this because it's pretty entertaining. My scores are all mediocre? Yes, I can actually agree with that. I mean, many of my scores are unique and are perhaps the best accuracy on the entire map when it comes to DT, but in the end, it's not anything too groundbreaking for the most part. His videos are just unoriginal normie memes. That's just not true, come on man, be reasonable. I make Osu memes, that's the opposite of normie memes. No one knows about Osu except for us. So yeah, calling them normie, that's a bit extreme and perhaps just shows how much of a bait this is. He almost always tweets terrible takes, I just noticed the almost, that means sometimes I'm actually right. Yes, I do tweet a lot of shit and I do tweet a lot of dumb shit, but when I tweet something dumb, it's not like I have a team of simps or just a bunch of yes men that just agree with everything I say. People are very quick to shit on my opinions if they're wrong. So yeah, that's not an argument that it doesn't actually happen. You should stop creating content? Come on man, I just started, dude. In fact, make sure to follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/spaza17 for more of live content, which you can see every single day or whenever I stream. And make sure to join my Discord whenever you want. That's it for this video guys, I really had a lot of fun reading your takes. Unfortunately I received far too many to be in just one video. I don't know, maybe I should try to limit the amount of responses I get, I'm not quite sure. But if you think your hot take is actually a good hot take and you want it to get featured in the next video, make sure to stay around on my Twitter whenever I tweet my Let's Argue thing, so you guys can basically share your hot takes again. And if you want to just in general try to be featured in this video, make sure to look out for when I do it. And again, I don't mean to plug my shit twice in a row, but I just do it on my Discord and my Twitter, so if you wanna be updated on that, make sure to follow me on there, alright? That's it guys, have a good one dude.